art a sinner.
So it looks like we actually just got a new update for Lords of the Fallen. And it just so happens to be a really cool looking boss fight. And I mean, this looked super cool. Of course, just like my last video, I saw some good and I saw some bad. I actually saw way more good than bad this time, but let's just go over it all right now. Something that I noticed before we go over the good and bad, I don't know if this is the first time that we're actually seeing the player HUD, but we get to see a small glimpse of the player HUD in this IGN video. And it definitely looks like they're bringing over some mechanics from the original Lords of the Fallen. As you can see on the top right, you have your amount of souls or whatever they're going to be calling it in this, and you can see below it there's a ×1. In the original Lords of the Fallen, the more enemies you defeated, the number went up little by little until you got to ×2 or ×3, and then when you finally sat at a bonfire or those giant crystals, I don't know what they're, I forget what they were called in the original. You can then bank your skill points with the ×3, giving you ×3 of the amount that you were holding. However, if you died, you needed to rush and get to your souls as soon as possible because you would lose a portion of your times whatever, and you would also lose a portion of your souls. And then of course, as soon as you bank it at a bonfire, that ×3 will go back to the original ×1. As you can see on the top left, it looks like we have health, stamina bar, possibly maybe mana or spell uses, or I'm not 100% sure what this segmented bar is, but it looks like maybe the blue bar might be your amount of spells that you have in reserve. In all honesty, this is a complete guess what these two bars are. If you guys know what they are, please comment down below, tell me, let me know. I really want to know. On the bottom right, looks like it's showing us all the spells we have equipped. And on the bottom left, I'm assuming this is where you use your mana and health potions and possibly the throwables as well. Very cool to finally see a small glimpse of the HUD. So starting off, I'm just going to give my overall impressions of this fight. I thought it looked awesome. The scenery, the atmosphere, the music, the sound got better, like the sound quality of the weapon hits, background noise, the ambient noise, just all the sound all together got really, really good compared to that last gameplay trailer we just got. I am very excited for this game. It is slowly becoming my most anticipated game of this year. Payday 3 will always be on top, but let's go over the good and bad now. So we're actually gonna start off with the bad. Why not, right? I honestly don't know why I'm qualifying this as a bad thing, but it looks like the iframes are as soon as you begin the roll until you are immediately out of it standing. Because there were so many times the main player should have been hit and just was not phased at all. Now, of course, because we can't see the HUD here because they removed the HUD for this, he could actually be getting hit. However, the game is allowing the animation to finish and to continue on. So he might still be getting hit and the frames might not be as vast as I think they are, but I can't see him getting hit because I don't see his health anywhere. Again, the iframe duration is kind of what you like or dislike. I think it's bad because it just seems a little too long for me, but maybe for you it's good. Something I mentioned in my last video kind of gets cleared up here, but it's still a little janky, and that is the very fast animations of some actions you do and also players do, or enemies. They're just really fast. It's almost jarring how quick some of these animations are. Like when it looks like your character's healing, like when he's doing a parry, like when he's doing the crit hit. They all look almost sped up. Now again, like I said, it kind of gets clarified for me of the reasons why it might be sped up, and that is because this boss fight has 2 phases, like I'm assuming the majority of them will, and the first phase seemed a little bit slower, but this second phase was very quick. It actually reminded me of this boss from Dark Souls 3. And since this boss is so quick, you're gonna want your animations to be equally quick, so that way it doesn't feel like you are constantly being punished for rolling or for using a health or something like that. So I can understand why it's sped up to a certain extent. It just looks a little weird. I kind of wish that they would slow it down just a little. Again, that is a very small nitpicky thing, and you will obviously get used to it the more you play the game. I noticed when the character was parrying, it looked like the game almost froze, or the character froze in place. Maybe that's to tell you when would be a good time to finish your parry, or to maybe initiate your parry, or to show you that you initiated or started a parry then. Just a little bit of a weird animation skip there, a little bit of a weird pausing or freezing effect. And honestly, that's the only bad thing I saw in this. Overall, this was really, really cool. So I'm gonna go over the good really quick, and man, there is a lot of good. So again, like I said before at the beginning, the sound, I'm so glad they touched up on this. Now, this could just be on boss fights that the sound sounds really good. The weight of the weapon hit sounds really good. The critical hit sounds good. All the magical effects sound really good. The music is amazing. Like, just overall, I feel like from the 17-minute gameplay trailer we saw, they definitely fine-tuned it, and I'm very glad. I'm always worried that the gameplay trailers we see are beta footage, essentially, and not much change happens from beta to release, especially in modern games. So to see that they refine this a little, or even this could have been a later gameplay. So for instance, the first one we saw could have been from January, and maybe this one is from this month. I'm not 100% sure, but I will say they definitely fine-tuned the sound, and it sounds much better, much more superb, I would say. I'm not 1000% sure, but it looked like this might be the first Souls-like that gives us throwable spears, items like a spear. I'm gonna have to check this out, of course, because I haven't played every Souls-like, so there could be a Souls-like out there that also allows spears, but it looks like it's a consumable, just like a grenade is, or just like a firebomb is, or a magical firebomb. It looks just like that. I'm going to assume that's what this is. It could be just a secondary weapon that you have an infinite amount of, or I guess it could be kind of like the crossbow or the bow and arrow, where you can put a bow, a crossbow, or a throwable in that section, and they have a finite amount, or maybe it even recharges, so you have a finite amount of them, but it just recharges over time, so you can get more later on. Just a very cool touch. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look like it does much, but also it's being used on a boss. I didn't really see this boss have any type of stumble effect. However, this character also wasn't using any big weapons, so I wouldn't see why he would have a stumble effect on small weapons. Something I really want to talk about is that boss design. Oh man, it was good. It was obviously a Christian crusader who happens to have a conjoint twin in the back of his head like Voldemort, and I'm going to assume there's a weird duality going on where the main person or the majority of the body is the good, like God-fearing person, the crusader, and the other half is some evil devil-worshipping like lover. And then as you can see, as soon as the Christian or the God-fearing guy is like, all right, I've lost, oh well, the devil dude is like, all right, time for me to take over. And the whole body shifts. The whole fight changes. It starts off like you're fighting the pursuer and ends up like you're fighting, I'm so sorry, I forgot his name, this guy. A very cool transition from one phase to the next. It was well designed, the character looked great, the armor looked great, his weapons were cool. I really want to know the story, because the way these halos look, it looks like we're fighting angelic beings, which actually biblically angels are not supposed to be some nice thing that helps everyone and is just full of joy. They are known as warriors of God. Like that's what they are. So I could totally see this dude being a legit angel who is a warrior of God, and could be the reason why it looks like he has a halo effect. Or maybe they're a part of a cult, some type of weird Jesus loving a cult, because they're in this cult and maybe they've done special things for it. Now they have weird halos that look super cool. Overall, I thought this boss fight was awesome. I would love to find his name out. I don't know if we're going to, at least yet. It might be out there. If it is, I'll put it right here. It looks like you can parry these big bosses. I don't know how big of a boss you can parry, but at least these dudes who look like they're 7 feet tall or something are parryable. Very, very cool. It also looks like you can stagger them, like right here when he does a critical hit. I actually think this is a female character that the controller is playing as, because it sounded like a female character, but I'm not sure. This boss had a ridiculous amount of attacks. He was doing normal attacks, he was doing magic attacks, he was, in his second form, he becomes a beast essentially, which has even more magical and more physical attacks. You can tell they took some time working on this boss, which is probably why they allowed the trailer to be this boss. Because if you're going to show something off, you might as well show off your best work. Something that I think is a plus from the old Lords of the Fallen, it looks like this game is going to be much faster paced, which is why I said the speed of the animations might be understandable now, because it's looking like some of these enemies are going to be they're going to be speedsters, especially his second phase. In the original Lords of the Fallen, the game was very clunky, very slow. Large weapons, honestly, don't even use those. It takes forever to even start the wind up, and as soon as you do, you're gonna get hit out of it. In this one, it looks like you can pretty much use any weapon because your character is a speed demon. All right, so honestly, that's all I really saw. That's all the good and bad that I saw in this. Every single thing I keep saying is making me so much more hyped for this game. I'm really hoping it's going to be good, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What did you think of this? Did you think it was a good boss fight? Do you think it looked like crap? Do you think it's going to be anything like the original Clunk Lords? Please let me know. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Again, it's kind of a short one, but this just came out. I wanted to get a video out on it. Some more videos will be coming here soon. But like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If like you saw and want to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button, finger that notification bell, keep up with all my uploads. Comment down below, guys. Tell me what you thought of this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.